Yo, what's up? Good evening. Welcome back to the Hope Shot Live. Wednesday night is our addiction to success. We got a good speaker on the night, man. A dude from Ocala. If you guys are just jumping on, say what's up. Let us know you're here. Hit us in the comments. We got Terry on. What's up, Terry? I got your message. I'm gonna message you back. I have to look at it and get a second. But I'm gonna message you back. And I'm gonna read the Hope Shot clarity statement real quick. Okay, so the Hope Shot clarity statement. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common: recovery as a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. Thank you for being a part of our family. So, man, we don't have that many viewers right now. That's kind of weird. Like I say, guys, if you guys are just jumping on, say what's up. Let us know you're here. Also, if you would share this live feed out. That our friend Tim is going to drop it tonight, and I'm sure his message is going to hit somebody. We just need you guys to share it out there and get it out there. So, we got some peeps jumping on. We got Jamie. Oh, she's on YouTube. What's going on, Jamie? Not on Facebook? What's going on? You in jail? Let me know. We got Brandy on here. What's up, Brandy? Appreciate you sharing. We appreciate y'all, man. We got Christina, first time here. Welcome to the Hope Shot. We go live every Wednesday and Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time to spread hope and inspiration. Oh, there's my friend Kristen. What's up? Man, I hope you're having a good week too. Thank you so much. So I'm going to right into it, man, and get this dude on. We got Tim tonight. He's going to share his story. So I'm going to bring him on real quick. What's up, Tim?
What's going on, man?
How are you?
I'm good. How's everybody?
I'm doing great, man. Can't complain.
Absolutely.
Well, man, I'm going to give it over to you, dude. It's your show. I'm going to mute. So it's just share away, man.
All right, cool, man. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's up, everybody? My name's Tim. My sobriety date is January 29th of 2020. So it doesn't seem like a big number, man, but it's a huge number for me, man. Considering the fact that I can never, ever in my life draw a sober breath since the age of 13. Man, I was talking to Justin earlier, man, and it's so cool, man, to be able to come on here and share my experience, strength, and hope, man. Because I don't think I would have ever made it if it wasn't without some step work and a loving God of my understanding. Like you said, I'm from Ocala, but I'm not born and raised here. I grew up in a town or in Tampa, Florida. I grew up in a home, man, where like alcohol and drugs was okay. My family was, my mom and my dad were alcoholics. And like, as far back as I can remember, man, like my grandfather was alcoholics, my grandmother was alcoholics. And like, I can blame it on that, but I that's not the case. So like growing up in my home, man, like alcohol was okay, right? Like as long as I was at home and I drank at home and like I had some parental, what's the word I'm looking for? Like supervision. But like the same thing with smoking weed, man. You know what I mean? Like my parents didn't frown upon it. They got it for me, right? As long as I stayed at home and they knew I was safe. And growing up in that type of home, man, like it becomes the normal, and like, I can't tell you the exact age, right? But I can remember like baby pictures when I was a kid and like my dad would have a beer in my hand. So at the end of that picture, I was probably drinking, right? Like I was probably tasting my dad's first beer. But what I can tell you is like, I know around the age of like 12 or 13, man, like I remember my parents used to have these big ass parties for my brother-in-laws and my older sisters. And like they had keggers, right? And like, I remember blackout drinking until the next morning, you know what I mean? Like I would start at 2:00 in the afternoon, like they would, right? And like I would go longer than they would. And you know, like the thing that separated me and a lot of the people at that party was like the kids that were there that were my friends, like continued to go to school, right? And like my parents like still maintained jobs, and like my brother and sister still got up and went to school, man. And like, you know, it was a little bit different for me, you know, like I started skipping school a little bit more. I started separating myself a little bit more. And as I got a little bit older, man, I was reaching about 14 years old, you know, and my parents got real bad on coke. And you know, I went from having that nice like middle class home, man, to like my parents my parents losing everything, you know. And here I am, man. I'm a 14-year-old kid, and you know, my parents are going to live with a dope dealer, right? Like they're going to live with their coke dealer, man. And I'm 14 years old, and I got an 18-year-old sister that's pregnant, man, that has a one-bedroom apartment that's coming to get me to take me to live with her. And you know, like I didn't realize it till recently, man. Like there's actually trauma in that stuff. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of childhood issues, man, that I'm having to work through right now, man, throughout step work and outside. Um, you know, but I never felt accepted by my parents. You know what I mean? I never felt like I was loved as much as my brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? And I used to play that victim card where like, why did they wait until I was an adult before they did this? You know? So here I am, I'm 14 years old. I'm living with my 18-year-old sister, and she's got a 21-year-old boyfriend. And, you know, she's staying with her boyfriend's parents, and it's me and her boyfriend at the house, you know? And like any other 21-year-old dude, it's like, we're going to drink and we're going to have fun. And then I'm going to attempt to go to school the next day. And you know, that's where like it started to decline. You know what I mean? That's where I started to play around with other substances, man. And you know, I started. This is when it was fun, right? I grew up in the era of like 94, 95, 96, 97, right, where we had raves, man. And like I remember,
Yes.
right? I remember like going and like having fun at the clubs, man, and like drink until I got there, and then I'd start playing with some other substances, and like staying up all night, man, and like doors locked in, and I'm having a good time. And then like he would drop me off at school, and then I would skip. You know what I mean? And I just try to make it home without my sister finding me, man, and it never worked that way. And I remember one time, man, like my sister found out she was waking up, driving me to school, driving me back home, man. And she found out and she made me scrub her floors with the toothbrush, right? Like that was punishment. And like I did that stuff, you know what I mean? Like, but she no longer became my sister, man. She became my mother. You know what I mean? She became that mom figure in my life, you know, and she did great, man. You know what I mean? Like she was good for a long period of time, man. And like, you know, she had her first daughter, and like she's raising me, man, and I'm staying with her. And at 16, my parents get a house back, right? And like my sister decides like, hey, maybe you should try to give them a try. And you know, like I did. I moved back in with my sisters, and nothing changed, right? The only thing that changed was the environment, the house I was in. It seemed like we ended up in a little bit worse neighborhood, and it was a little bit more convenient for them to do their thing, right? So like I'm back to my parents' house, and I'm isolated even around them. You know what I mean? I feel alone even around them. You know, so like I go on this skateboard venture, and I'm going to move in with my friends, and we're going to become professional skateboarders. And you know, they're a little bit older than me, man, and like I'm good at it, right? Like I found my place in it. So like they're living at these apartments over by USF, right? So like once again, I find my place with them, and like I'm living in this apartment complex. I'm 16 years old. I'm around all these college kids. So what do? We get drunk. You know what I mean? Like I can't tell you how many of those keg parties I crashed. You know what I mean? I can't tell you like how much weed I smoked. You know, but it was going good for a little while, right? Like I was sleeping on a couch and life was great. And like I was waking up every morning and I was drinking and skateboarding and like just doing my thing, man. And like my parents would flip me some cash, and like I'd have food to eat, I have some weed to smoke, and like life was good, you know. And I flew out, or we went out west, man, on this little skateboarding venture, man. And while I was out there, I hurt myself real bad, and I ended up having to come back to Tampa, and like my trip got cut short, and like I'm out there, man, And like, dude, like I didn't know about painkillers or none of that shit yet. You know, I'll just drink it till I black out, man, and I'll just smoke some more weed and like I'll make it home and like it'll be all right, you know. And come to find out, my foot was broke, by the way. But you know, I get back to Tampa, man, and like, you know, now I'm bummed out, man. You know, my dad's living in a trailer park. You know, my parents are going through a divorce, man, and I'm 17 years old, and like I'm back to square one again. You know what I mean? Like I'm back to having to live with you guys, and like this sucks. So you know, got with a group of childhood friends, man, that I used to hang out with. They were my friends, right? And we you know, they were out partying, man, and like I was just seeing like they were doing all right, man, you know. And my friend had a house and his parents moved out, and he's like, hey, just move into my house, right? So, you know, I did, man. And like they would stay up all night partying, and like I was working for my dad's shop, and like I would get up every morning to go to work, and like, you know, it wasn't too bad yet. You know, it wasn't too bad. So, you know, it's funny, man. I call them ex-girlfriends, right? But they were my hostages. You know what I mean? And like I had a tendency of like stepping in the way of every relationship they were in to get whatever I wanted. And like that was a pattern that consistently continued until I got sober. So you know, I'll call her my first hostage. You know what I mean? She moved, she had a boyfriend, you know, we got together, you know, she partied, I partied, like it's gonna be great. You know what I mean? Like we're living in my friend's house, and like she ends up like trying to better her life a little bit, man. So she moves back into her parents, she goes back to school, she gets a job, man, and like it isn't working out at this house. So like I end up back in my dad's, and then I move into my oldest sister's house, man, and like, you know, they're the functional type of drinkers. I didn't realize how bad of an alcoholic I was. Those are the functional alcoholics, man. Like they got up every day, they went to work, and when they came home, they drank and they got drunk, right? And like I went to work for their friend's roofing, man, and like I got up every day and we drank a bunch of beer before we climbed up on roofs, man. And you know, eventually, man, like I got my first apartment, and you know, me and her are together, and like life's good, man, except there's a problem, right? Like I quit my job and I'm going to become this drug dealer. Um, and you know, like I'm selling weed, right? And like I'm doing all right for myself, I thought, right? Except she has now went from like a call center job, man, to like working at a strip club, and I don't see nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? So like I'll drive your car, I'll use your money, you'll pay the bills, and like I'll sit at home and smoke weed and be a drug dealer. And eventually she got tired of it. You know what I mean? So like it was time for me to kind of become an adult. You know, so me and her split up, man, and like I'm back to hopping on couches while I'm looking for an apartment. And after that, man, like it got real bad. You know, this is where it got real bad, and it's funny because every time I tell my story, it's kind of a laughing matter, man. But like, I went from selling dope on a couch, man, to like, I got a job at a nudist resort in Pasco County, right? And it was great, dude, because I was a bar back, so I had access to the liquor room, right? Like they fed me shots at the bar. I could sell stuff there, and like they would let me keep my job. You know what I mean? Like, what more could you ask for? But you know, I got this apartment with a friend of mine, man, and like next bench's business ventures, I'm gonna become a Coke dealer. Well, come to find out, I suck at selling Coke. I became my best customer, and I didn't sell shit. And you know, this is where it starts to spiral, man. You know, I never realized like the powerlessness thing or the unmanageability. But like I know that through my experience, like I have not been able to stop once I start, and once I do start, like I can't tell you when I'm gonna stop. And you know, it only gets worse, man. Like I uh I get real bad on coke, man, and like, you know, my dad's back in my life, man, and like my dad's doctor shopping, and like I remember he came and told me one day, man, like he's trading me some stuff, right? Becomes He's becomes my best friend and my running partner, and you know, he's trading me some stuff for some Roxy's, man, and like that's the first time I met opiates. You know what I mean? And like instantaneously, man, like that was it. Like that is exactly what I was looking for. That is the effect I want, you know. And like I didn't know how injurious it was, right? Because I couldn't tell at that moment, man. But I knew I wanted more, you know. So you know, eventually, man, like I'm living in this apartment, man, and like I burned all my bridges in this apartment, and like I'm getting evicted, and like I got this other hostage, and like I'm gonna have her get an apartment in her name, and like we're gonna maintain bills, and like we're gonna control our drug habit, and like life's gonna be great, you know. And I wish it could say it went like that, but unfortunately it didn't, man. Like it lasted about 3 months of this apartment, and come to find out, right? Like if you don't pay your rent, they want you out, you know? So we got evicted, man. And like now we're back to square one again. You know what I mean? Now I'm hooked on Roxy's. I'm dope sick. I like to speedball. I like drinking and I cannot stop, you know? And I go from there and we managed to get this other apartment on the other side of town. And I think to myself, like, if I can just get over there, maybe I can stop with the Roxy's, but like my coke dealer lives over here, so we'll be all right. And you know, same situation, man. I'm back in the same area. You know what I mean? I can't stop, and I can't pay my rent. You know, so eviction notice number 3, man. And at this moment, you know, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, man. And my dad asked me to come live with him, and I don't know how he managed to pay his rent, but he did. And I knew he had an extra room, so I'm gonna go live with my dad. So you know, off we go, and man, like, you know, my dad was in that era, man, of like doctor shopping. You know what I mean? There was no database, man. You could hit up 15 doctors a month, man, and like just get away with it as long as you do your pharmacies. And you know, I like to jump on the boat with them. You know what I mean? So like fake MRIs, and here we go. You know, and the next thing I know, man, like, dude, it got so bad so quick, man. Like so bad so quick, man. Like I went from like being violently dope sick every morning to being like violently dope sick like every 3 hours, man. You know what I mean? And like my pill increased dramatically, man. And like now we got another issue. Like that sister that took me in that was doing good, right? She's now on the bandwagon with us, man. And like, you know, my dad pulls her in with us, you know, and she's on Vicodins, and my dad's like, well, just try these, you know. And the next thing I know, man, like now it's dad, brother, and sister, and we're running the streets together. You know what I mean? And like she maintained her job and she maintained keeping her kids for a while. And like she did all right. And like my dad managed his house for a little while. I could not keep a job, and I started robbing everybody. You know, I used to break into my dad's safe. I used to steal his pills out of his pocket. You know what I mean? Like my dad used to wear these tight jeans so we couldn't get his pills out, and I would manage to be able to get it to the top of the pill bottle top and like dump his pocket in my hands. And you know, that's how it went, man. And eventually though, you know, I got arrested, man. I broke into my sister's house and I broke into these other people's house, man. And like the first time I got arrested, man, like they hit me with grand theft, dealing in stolen property, and fraudulent use of a pawnbroker. And I had never been to jail, you know. So I go to jail for a while. I go to jail for a couple weeks, man, and they ROR me, right? And I'm like, hell yeah, like I'm good, bro. I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna be all right. And I get out, man, and the next thing I know, I got a detective looking for me the next day, man. And they have about 17 new charges for me, man. And like me being the naive guy, and he's like, hey, I just want to talk to you about this stuff. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go talk to you. Well, like, I'm going to jail. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to jail for a while. So I go and I talk to this guy, man. I get interrogated. I tell all of myself, and like that's God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself, because I probably would have killed myself. You know, and like I get arrested, man, and I have all these charges, and you know what I mean? Like I don't see no end in sight, and I'm looking at like the max score sheet and like what I'm at, and I'm like, damn it, dude, like what am I gonna do, man? And you know, they end up dropping a bunch of charges, and like like any good alcoholic junkie, man, like they offer probation and you ain't never been in trouble, man, you're going to take it. You know what I mean? Cause like, I'm going to figure a way to get this stuff. And, you know, I get out on probation, man, and I never make it. You know, I make it to my DOC photo and I make it to one visit and I never make it to another probation visit again. And here I am, man, I'm back off to the races. You know what I mean? I'm back in the same spot. I'm ripping and running the streets, man. Like I'm bouncing from house to house to house, and I got detectives looking for me everywhere. And you know, I eventually get arrested, man, at a hotel, and you know, I'm dope sick, and I get in the back of the car, and I'm just like, well, thank you, God. You know what I mean? Because like I know as soon as I get in here, right, like they're gonna give me some medication. And that time they gave you stuff to detox, right? So I get to jail, man, and I detox, and then like they say reinstatement. And the first thought that crossed my mind is like, hell yeah, I'm going home, dude. I ain't have no home. You know what I mean? I'm back to bouncing couches, and they reinstate me, man. And I go and I move in with my mom and my aunt, man, and like they're trying to give me a shot, and they know how bad it's been. And like, dude, I get there, man, and like instantly, dude, like I burn it down, man. Like my uncle goes to the doctor. I break in his car, man. I steal his pills, and I'm back to the races. You know what I mean? And like the cops know where I'm at here, and I'm not going to probation, so like I'm out. And there I am, man. Like I'm back to the races. I'm bouncing all around Tampa, and you know, I'm up in this apartment that we managed to rent from my girlfriend's uncle at the time, and he has a warrant for DUI, right? And I've been hiding out in this apartment for months, man. And all of a sudden, the cops show up to this apartment for him, and they end up getting me. And, you know, I go to jail, man. And on the way there, man, this dude's like, you know, don't worry, you're going to be out. And I'm like, no, like, I'm going to prison this time. You know what I mean? And like, it, for that brief moment, man, like it was all right. You know what I mean? Like I knew like I wasn't going to wake up sick anymore. I knew that like that running shit was over. And like, I knew that like I could actually breathe again for a few minutes, man, whether it was behind like a 6x8 cell, man, like I didn't have to wake up and chase dope no more, man. And like, that was a brief moment, you know what I mean? Like, so like I go to court, man, and like they're talking reinstatement, man. I'm like, listen, dude, this ain't working. Like I don't report probation. Like just go ahead and send me to prison. So they jump on it, you know what I mean? Like, hell yeah, we got you. So you know, I go to prison, man, and like it's crazy, man. Like, you know, I get up to prison, man, and you think you learn your lesson, right? Like I go through Lake Butler and like I do all the concrete bench stuff and like go through the worst intake of my life, man. And like I go to a shit camp up in Perry, Florida, man, with sand gnats, right? And like I'm like the model inmate in there. Like I'll make my bed, I'll do my laundry, my box is clean, my bunk's clean, and like my parents are sending me money for food, so they know I'm safe, right? My sister sending me money because she knows I'm safe, and some stamped envelopes, and like I'm good, man. And eventually, man, I get accepted for some work release, man. So you think like you would be all right in there. And you know, I signed up for this work release in Kissimmee, and my mom lives up in St. Cloud. So I'm like, this will work good, man. Like my mom, it'll be easy for my mom to see me, you know what I mean? And like I can find a job and just do this work release thing. And you know, I made it by like literally the skin of my teeth, man. But I got up there, man, and my dad's managing a Mako, you know, and he gets me a job up there, man, and I'm supposed to turn in my first check to them. And I end up stopping at Amscot on my way back because it's the 4th of July and they don't know I had this check. So I cash the check, man, and I get back. And like here we are, like my work release center's here. And if I run across the field and jump the fence, there's a liquor store right there. So like all night long, we're running back and forth across the field because they don't see us because it's not like a prison. And we're jumping the fence and filling these water bottles up with gin and then jumping the fence back and then getting trashed. And for anybody who knows, man, like Kissimmee's a dope hole and like work release is in the middle of it. So I, you know, I'm right back at it, man. Like in work release, you know, they give me some freedom, man. And like, I'm able to be gone 14, 15 hours a day. And, you know, I'm working with these people, and like, this girl has morphine, and like, I'm back at it. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't had pills in a while, and here we go. And, you know, I managed to make it through work release, man. And I managed to get picked up from there. Right. And like anybody that was normal, man, would go to prison and be like, man, this shit's done. Like, this ain't working. My dad had asked me, like, what is the first thing you want me to bring you when I pick you up? And I said, some blues. And, you know, like any good running partner, any best friend, man, like, he's going to pick me up and he's going to bring me some pills. And, you know, it's crazy, man. I'm getting out of work release. I haven't even left the work release parking lot, and I can't even pick my head up off my lap. And, you know, I still don't see nothing wrong with it, man. And, you know, the next thing I know, man, I'm back at it. You know, I had some money saved up that they gave me, and, I'm on a new business venture, right? Like, I'm going to do this thing again. And, you know, I get a job, man, and I lose it. And I get a job and I lose it, you know, and it's the typical repeated pattern that happens throughout addiction, man. And, you know, I go to jail a lot more times. And, you know, I get arrested one time, man, and they're trying to help me. Right. And like, the best way they know possible. So like, they give me this in jail drug program. Right. And like, you know, I actually wanted it. Like, at that moment, like, I actually wanted it, man. And the only thing was, like, I wasn't willing to do what they said after I left work, the drug program. You know what I mean? Like, and there, once again, I'm that model inmate, and then I'm back at it, you know, and like, I'm great at writing papers, man. Like, I'm great at doing whatever's necessary for me to make it right. But I'm not great at completing it. Like, I'm a great starter and a shitty finisher. You know what I mean? So like, I get in there, and like, if there was a grade they could give me, it was probably an A. And I remember I'm leaving there, man, and like, I have this degree, right? This whole certificate, man, and like, change my people, places, and things. So my mom lives in St. Pete now, so I'm gonna go out there and change my places. Once again, my mom's an alcoholic and a crackhead. You know, so I remember I make it to my mom's, right? And my mom lets me come over there and stay on her couch. And like, I'm so proud of this shit. Like, look, I found the answer, man. And she said, good, you want to go have a celebration drink, right? And I was like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? And I was thinking about it today, man. I was meeting with the sponsee, dude, and he's talking about like that absolute no mental defense, man. You mentioned it and I wanted it. You know what I mean? And I was like, son of a bitch. Like, that was me, man. Like, it was, there was no thought process in between. Do you wanna, and let's go. You know what I mean? And you know, it doesn't last long, man. Like, I like to go from alcohol to the next extreme, man. And like, I can do it for a little while, and then I can make it to the next, man. And eventually, like, my mom would get up and go to work again, right? And I would raid her refrigerator and steal her beer while they're at work. And then when they get home, we're going to go to the bar, and they're going to leave, and I'm going to try to manipulate everybody to get drinks for the rest of the night, man. And, you know, eventually, man, like, it quit producing the effect I wanted. You know what I mean? So I find myself back in Tampa, and I go back to work for an old boss, and like, he wants nothing but the best for me, man. So like, he gets me there and he gets me a paycheck, right? And first paycheck, man, I'm back at the same dope hole, and I'm back at it. You know what I mean? And you know, I continue this for a little while, man, and I end up getting arrested again, and this time, man, like, I took the helicopters for a chase, right? And like, I floated in, I call it a ravine, they call it a ditch. Trying to hide from the cops, man. I got attacked by the dogs, and they pulled me out, man. And you know, I had this great idea that I'm gonna take this case to trial, and they offered me that program again. And you know, it's the same situation, different counselor, man. And I didn't realize it until I was getting sober this time, man, that like, what they were saying to me, man, had absolutely no depth and weight, man. Like, what they were saying to me did not catch my interest. You know, like, I went to these classes all day, and like, these meetings came in, these AA and these NA meetings came, and the message never changed, right? Like it was the same message that you hear today, right? I just was completely closed-minded to any of that shit, you know. So I get out, man, and like it's back to it, man. Except this time I leave there and I go to my sister's house and like I'm smoking meth, and it was just like that, man. Like absolutely no defense against it. Like I show up to her house, hey, do you want to get high? Yes, you know, and like it, and I'm back at it again. You know what I mean? And now I got a whole different couple sets of monsters, right? Like I went from the pills to the heroin, right? I went from the heroin to the meth to the combination, and I get arrested again, right? Because that's what happens in this lifestyle, man. Like nothing good comes of it, you know. I get arrested again, man, and this time I was falsely accused of some stuff, and like I take it to trial and I win trial, and I think that like, you know, I'm gonna get out, man, and I'd stop, man, but like I got a great idea, and I have nowhere to go, so you know, I end up at this guy's house, man, and like I know how to make this stuff, and that's what I'm doing now, and it's just enough to get back on my feet, and once I get on my feet, like I'm done, and you know, unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way. You know, it doesn't happen that way. So like, I continued running like this, man, and you know, like I managed to not catch hostages through this process until later on, man, and then I met this girl, and like, you know, me and her were together for a good period of time, man, and like I wish I could say it ended up great, but it didn't. You know, she was my best friend. She was my running partner, man. She was my co-conspirator. You know what I mean? And like, you know, me and her stuck by each other the best we could through addiction. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, so it was December of 19, man. She started getting these chest problems, right? And she thought it was like tuberculosis or this or that, and she refused to go to the hospital, man. And maybe if she would have went to the hospital a little bit sooner, there would have been a little bit more hope for her. But she would go in for a period and then haul ass, man. And they at first they couldn't figure it out, you know, and come to find out it was endocarditis, right? And you know, dude, like it's crazy, man. Like you can go to a dope house, man, and you can watch people OD and be like, all right, man, shit, it's just another person ODing. Like, let me see what he's got. And I want that. But it's a whole different monster, man, when you're watching it literally like kill you, man. Like, you know, you're dying, and it's not like I'm just going to nod out and die, man. Like, it's going to be, I'm going to go through a miserable death to the end, you know, and I watched that, you know what I mean, from the beginning until the end. And I remember the last day that she was alive, she called me that morning, man, and she had asked me to go pick up some money and go get some dope, right? And I was dope sick. So like, you know, any junkie is going to do it, man. I'm going to get right before I get to you. And in between me doing that shot and me making it to that house, like she made it from the couch to the ambulance and from the ambulance to a gurney, and she passed away, you know? And man, like I didn't know, you know what I mean? Like I didn't know, like I knew the ambulance picked her up and I didn't know what was going on, man. And like, I remember like that panic, right? And like calling my sister, like, hey, she's at a hospital, but I can't find her, you know? And, you know, my sister's calling around and like, we ain't having any luck, man. And like at this time, man, like I'm homeless. Like I've been on the street for years, man. And like, it's a lifestyle that I know, man. Like as long as I get right, I'm gonna be okay. And my sister knew she could do nothing for me, you know. My sister moved up to Ocala and got sober, so I knew what she was doing was working. I just didn't want no part of it, you know. So I remember, you know, I'm in this panic, man. I'm sleeping in these bushes outside of this guy's house, man. And like I'm continuing to get high, and like, you know, I got these scars on my arm, right, from shooting up and other stuff. And you know, I had a warrant for driving on a suspended license, and I had been stopped 15 times before this, man, and they let me go, right? And I'm at the point now where I'm flying a sign to get enough money to get right in the morning so I can go continue doing what I'm doing, man. And this morning I just happened to get stopped, and this cop just happened to take me to jail. You know what I mean? And it's not a coincidence, man, because like truth be told, like I had probably all intentions of killing myself, right? It was gonna happen. It was only a period of time. And I went to jail, man, and like this detox wasn't cushy, right? Like they didn't give me nothing to come off of it. They stuck me in a ward on a concrete floor, man, and they checked my blood pressure, and that was it, right? And I didn't have no cushy detox, man. And they say you don't ever want to forget that, man. I can never forget it. I remember though I managed to get that girl's sugar daddy to bond me out of jail, right? And he did. He bonded me out, man. And I remember like I was laying in the bed, man, and I was rushing to get out, and this guy looked over to me and he said, "Man, what the hell are you in such a rush for, man? All you're gonna do is get out of here and continue doing what you're doing, man. If you don't do something different, And man, that shit stuck with me, right? But like I get out, man, and I call up my dope dealer, and he tells me what happened, right? Now the fog has been lifted, right? And he tells me what happened, man, and like I tell him I'm sick and like blah 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 blah, like everybody does, and he leaves me something in a trash can, man. And like truth be told, right, it was enough for me to kill myself. So like I make it from the jail to the trash can to this house, man. And like from this process, right, my whole thought process is how am I going to do this and how am I not going to wake up from this, man? And obviously, man, it didn't go like that because I'm here, right? But I make it to this house, man, and this guy's there, and he won't let me go in the bathroom by myself because he knows what I'm intending to do, man. And I'll never forget it, man. Like I did that shot, man, right? And I looked in the mirror, man, and like like that utter disgust, man, like of like, dude, I just cannot do this anymore, man. And like I just watched this stuff, right? And the effects that come from it, man, literally killed my girlfriend, man. And I'm using that same stuff, man, to comfort the pain, right? So I called my sister, man, and I'm like, dude, listen, man, like I don't know what I'm doing, man, but I know this isn't working anymore. Like I'm out of ideas, man, and I don't know what to do. So she asked me, "Are you done?" And like for the first time in my life, I could say yes, man, I'm done. So she hauled ass from Ocala to Tampa to get me, man, and like she's a smart one, right? Because leave me with enough time to think about stuff, man, and like I'm gonna talk myself out of it. So she stopped and she gave me some money to get enough to get from Tampa to Ocala, and I didn't know she was taking me to a police station either, and I just got out of jail. So I did my last shot, man. I was driving down 75, man. There's a rest stop right before you get to Ocala, and that was the last place I ever got high at, man. That was the last place I ever shot dope, man. And it's not a coincidence how everything planned out, man. I did that shot, man. I made it to the car. One of those pictures, obviously the before, was the last time I got high, man. I'm standing there, man, and like as soon as the cop pulls up, like I'm out of it, man, and they get me in the car and they take me to detox, man, and in there, man, like I'm struggling with my mind, like, and I'm debating whether I want to do this, and I go to live stream, so like I got a long ride out there, and I'm knocked out the whole way, and I wake up and I don't know where the hell I am. And I remember I called my sister, and she came up for visitation to come see me, man, and while I'm in there talking to her, she's like, "What do you think about treatment?" And I'm like, "I'm all for like whatever I got to do, man." And this treatment was different, you know what I mean? Because I was willing. This treatment was different because I wanted it. I never wanted any of it before, man. And so her and her old sponsor are pulling all these strings, man, and they're trying to get me in. And the beds are full at the centers, but somehow, some way, by the grace of God, they get me in there. And she picks me up from live streams, and I have a couple days before I have to turn myself in. And I'm at her house, man, and my sister would leave $20 on the table for me, and she would tell me, "Hey, listen, man, there's $20 right here on the table, right? But at noon there's a meeting over there." So you can go there, or if you cross the park, you can continue doing what you're doing. And I remember the first time she told me that, like I was crossing the park, right? And I was walking to this meeting, man. And like, I was thinking to myself, like, maybe I can go over there and do something, right? And I just happened to be passing the place that the meeting was at, man. And this guy seen me and he snatched me up and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm looking for a meeting." And this guy took me by his side, man. And he kept me by his side the whole time I was on my way to treatment. The couple days I was out, morning, noon, and night, man, this guy kept me by his side, man. And like, made sure I got to meetings and kept me close, you know what I mean? And, when I went to treatment, man, like it was uncomfortable, you know what I mean? That mental torture, you know what I mean? Like literally trying to find every excuse to get in and out of there, man. It never worked. They used to tell me like this cliche stuff, like just stay for today. And if you want to leave tomorrow, you can, man. And like, it's funny, like, cause tomorrow never came, you know what I mean? And, I was able to get in there, man, and start doing stuff a little bit different, man. There was these two guys, man, and they used to bring this meeting in, man. And like I was saying before, those counselors before, I never had no depth and weight, right? They didn't know what I did, but these two guys that were bringing this meeting spoke my story, man, and like it caught my interest, man. And these guys had long-term sobriety, man, and they were happy and they were useful and they were effective, right? And I wanted what they had, you know. And I took some suggestions while I was in there, man. Like I got a sponsor, you know what I mean? I started doing some step work, and COVID happened. Like I was in treatment when COVID happened and everything shut down, man. And like normally that would be an excuse just to stop what I was doing right there, because my excuse would be my sponsor's not here. But the truth of the matter is, man, this was life or death for me. You know what I mean? So I used to get passes to call my sponsor and do step work over the phone every day. And, I did a lot of writing in there, man. I did a lot of writing in there, man. Me and my sponsor went through a third step, man. And like, I had to go do it with somebody that did it, man. And it told me, man, that I launched into a vigorous course of action, right? So, I start writing a 4-step, man, and I start uncovering a lot of truth. I start finding out a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? And like the work continued, you know what I mean? So I'm in there 4 months, man. And like, I got a great counselor, man. And like, he helps me through all that trauma that I was going through as a child and relationship patterns, man. And I got a sponsor that's walking me through the steps, man. And, now it's time to go, right? Like the bubble's gone, and like now I'm going out on my own, man. And my sister didn't think it was a good idea for me to move with her at that moment, man. And like I'm grateful for that, you know what I mean? Because I had to learn some responsibility, man, and get a little bit of accountability in my life, you know. And so I move out, man. I move into this halfway house, and like I have my first sponsor, man, and like I go to work, man, and like I'm working for my grad sponsor, and like everything's going good. And then my sponsor starts going through his own stuff, man. And my grant sponsor used to tell me, like, if you don't change sponsors, man, you're gonna die. You know, and I took that suggestion, man, and I got with the guy I have now, man, who's been my sponsor for years, man, and I love him dearly. But he didn't drag his feet with me, man. There was no let's just work a step a month, none of that, man. Like he understood like what this was all about and what we were trying to do, man. And I asked him to sponsor me on a Monday, man, and Tuesday afternoon he picked me up, and on Sunday we were doing a 5th step. And from that day forward, man, like the rest is just all unfolded, man. Like a complete transformation, like complete 180 of the guy I used to be, man. And I can't take no credit for it. But like, I was sitting here thinking before I started sharing earlier or tonight, man, like, I remember there was a time, man, when I used to take from every single person that I ever came in contact with, that I knew, that I didn't know, man. And like, it's pretty cool, man, to go back and give these people all their stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty cool, man, to give it back, man, and make direct amends, man. And, it's been a journey, man. It's been a process. It hasn't been an overnight thing, man. Like, I'm grateful for the gift of desperation. I'm grateful that I was blessed with it and took it and ran with it, man, because like there's not a doubt in my mind that I would be dead right now. You know what I mean? Like there was no way that I could continue living like that, man. And like, it's crazy how you sit back and think about like how your whole life changes, man. And like what I do today is something I would have never thought about 3 years ago. You know what I mean? Or 2 years and 6 months ago. Like I have a relationship with a loving God in my understanding, man, that I spend time with on a daily basis. Not just, hey, God, please help me, but like I spend time with on a daily basis, man. Um, all those people that didn't want me around, man, because I broke into their house, man, can't wait for me to come around. Um, you don't understand like the traumas and the stuff that you put your family through, man. My nieces and nephews, you know what I mean? Those have by far been some of the best amends I've been able to make, man, because like, them growing up as kids, man, like, and watching me do this, bro, and watching me going from like an all right human being to like gutter human being, man. And like every time I would see them, man, they would cry about how bad they wanted me just to come back. And, I remember I was making an amends with my nephew, man. And, granted, my sister's house is only 5 minutes down the road. I sent him a message and I was like, hey, man, listen, if there's any chance we can get together, man, do you mind if I come talk to you? We'll sit down and have lunch. He said, I just happened to be coming to Ocala, man. And, I, when he got here, my sister called me, man. And like, I flew over there and, I was sitting down and talking to my nephew and I was making my amends. And he told me, he said, he said, it's not the amends part that I'm impressed with, man. He's like, it's the fact that when you got over here, or when you found out I was over here, man, you rushed to get your ass over here. Um, and I sat there and I listened to what he had to say without no rebuttal, man. But the things he told me, man, it's those tearjerker moments, man, where like, he's getting ready to get married, right? And he wants me there now, right? Um, his girlfriend's pregnant and he wants me there. You know what I mean? Like I'm invited to his house that he never wanted me at, man. My niece, who I drug through the ringer, man. I have the best relationship with my niece and my sister today. Um, my mom, who's still in active addiction, right? Like I can still go over there and be a son that she's never had, and like I've had to do a lot of work on that. It's I found myself recently, man, where even in sobriety, I was doing the same things to my mom that I was doing in addiction, and I was never giving my mom a fair chance, man. And it doesn't matter what she does, man. Like, I might be the only recovery she ever sees, man, and like that's a blessing. You know what I mean? Because she probably never thought that she was ever going to see me draw a sober breath, man. And it continues to get better, man. Like I haven't had the thought of getting high or getting drunk in a long time. It tells me that this obsession will be removed, man. Like it has been thoroughly removed, but like it takes work, man, on my part, man. Like I have to do work on my part, man. And like that's something that like I'm willing to do. I'm continuing to do this, man. Like, I got a group of guys in my life, man, that are my spiritual advisors, my guide, my direction, my family, my confidants, and my friends, man. And I know that anytime I'm going through something, man, I can pick up the phone and they call or they're going to answer, man. And it goes both ways, um, man, like for anybody that's new, man, give it a try, give it a shot. I remember riding a treatment. My sister said, hey, try this out for 90 days. And if it doesn't work, go back and do what you were doing. That was 2.5 years ago. And I'm still here, man. Don't leave before the miracle happens. And unfortunately, a lot of people leave after the miracle happens. You know what I mean? And like, it's uncomfortable. There's some uncomfortable stuff, but it's been saving my life. And, I'm grateful for that. So I think that's all I got.
Oh, thanks, Tim, man. Thank you so much for sharing your story, man. I'm gonna read some of the comments, man. We got someone here. Let's see. Alfred said, well, yes, we do recover. Man, I appreciate y'all so much for these meetings and messages. Love. We got Nicole says, great starter, shitty finisher. That was a good one right there. I know I do it real well, but I don't like finishing it, you know. She says, I'm working on it now though. And she also says, oh man, I'm so sorry for your loss. It is the worst thing watching a loved one die right before your eyes and not being able to stop using. I understand. Thank you for sharing the part of your story. Let's see. We got Kristen says writing is an amazing outlet, and that's the facts right there. We got Helen says, gotta have our people. Kristen says, thank you for sharing, Tim. Keep up the great work, buddy. Mindy says, I'm so grateful that you chose this way of life again and again. You inspire me and so many others. I love you. And then we got Jamie says, amazing story. Thank you for sharing. Well, man, you know, it's funny that the family dynamic, you know, I had the family dynamic too, brother, sister, mom, all of us were in one house doing the pill thing, you know, doing crazy stuff, you know, it's all the same. It's funny coming from that dynamic where everything was so normal, you know, everybody, I never got a script, but they all got scripts, you know what I mean? Like I would feed off them and we'd all feed off each other. Like literally, it's like a cesspool of people feeding on each other like freaking zombies, you know, on a freaking carcass, you know. It's crazy, man. It's like you're in this little drug fueled coma, as you can see, you know, as I say, and like you're just all just feeding off that negativity and the drug use, and it's just a nonstop cycle of bullshit.
Right. Right.
But yeah, man. Well, I want to know is what would you say to the person that might have one day, might have 30 days, and they're thinking about going out right now? What would you say to that person?
Man, you're not alone, man. Pick up the phone, bro. There's a million people that'll answer it, dude. Like, you don't have to do this alone. Um, Transparency, man. Learning how to talk on it. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes people don't know about it, man. Like, I got to know how to talk about everything that's going on in my life, man. Um, that has been key essential for me, man. Literally being an open book, man. Like, I was told in recovery, man, like my disease is scheming to kill me, right? And like it'll find any loophole it can to get in, and like I have to learn how to work through it, man. And the only way I've been able to do it, man, is literally by talking about it, because it loses all power when it's gone, you know. And it's been cool, man. Like it's been a cool process, man. And there's a lot of people out here, man, wherever you're struggling at. Like I know hundreds of people here in Ocala, man, that keep their phone by their bedside and answer it at any time, man, because like we went through it. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing that you're going through that we haven't been through. Like, and like we know how to get through it, you know, together.
Yeah, so just reach out. Well, thank you, Tim, for coming on and sharing your story, man. I appreciate you. And if you guys want to check us out this Sunday, man, we go live on this Sunday, 8 p.m. Share some topics, spread some hope, you know, the usual Sunday. Get the week started right on a great message. So join us this Sunday. Love you all. Good night.